Hey everyone, Joe here, and today's guest, I will admit, I had no idea about Michael and Weather Dragon until I walked past her booth at Gen Con. And I was like, oh my God, a table made for people like me. And I had to
Now,
stop and
tall
talk.
people or nerds in general? Like, what do we?
Tall nerds, I guess.
Yeah.
It was an amazing table, an amazing experience, and I so glad that we can sit down now without 12,000 people walking by.
Yeah.
So Michael, how you been?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. I've read the notes that we talked about before the show. You said that the journey of your company is not exactly one of a normal table maker. Like, what were you supposed to do instead of making tables?
Well, that's I guess what it is when the idea popped into my head. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Got back into D&D
Right.
7-ish years ago, 7, 8 years ago. I'm one of those. Played when I was a teen. Took the 25+ year hiatus. Got back. My had kids. They got into it, so that's what dragged me back into
Nice.
the game. So my brain is go big or go home. Starting to get back into it. I said we need something really cool to play on. So the first design of the table that you saw is the Harbinger game table. Was meant for us. That's it. Like it was just supposed to be a cool table for us to play
Really?
on. I didn't make the table to saying I want to be a table maker. That's not what this was. As people started coming,
Right.
my buddy Matt mainly pushed me. He's like, Mike, you really need to show this to the world. So made it a business,
Absolutely.
made a social media page and booked my first con. And of all cons to book first was Gen Con 2021. So you want to talk about coming out the gate swinging, but that
Oh,
was
wow.
like end of COVID era. So it was a very small, condensed Gen Con, the worst possible time
I
to be doing
remember.
this kind of stuff. But it was a good soft start introduction to Gen Con for sure, and the con scene in general from somebody who has knew nothing about the scene. And
Really?
so it was, but yeah.
Why do you pick Gen Con then? If you knew nothing about the con
Actually,
scene,
believe it or
that's just
not, it
any
wasn't my first. There's a smaller con in Richmond, Virginia called Raven Con. That's about
right.
2 hours from me. That was my first book.
Cool.
They kept canceling 2019, 2020. They canceled
Right.
2021. And I was like, I was ready to just forget it at that point. And then Gen Con decided that they were going to go ahead. So technically, it wasn't my first con booked.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those years for Gen Con because they went 1 year online only. And then the next year was always touch. Do they go? Do that? It was like last minute half time. And then there was the rules kept changing throughout the cons, including, by the way, 2025, the first con without all those major not baby strollers. They're like
The
they use
the
baby strollers
wagons
to
and the
cart games.
carts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wagons. Does that make your table pop out more? People couldn't like block it with 12,000 things they're carrying and like does it give you better traffic towards your table when people aren't trying to like
It's
ah,
hard to say because it comes in clusters. Like people will
right,
that energy kind of builds when like a couple people are talking, then it kind of draws the next person in, and then the crowd,
right.
people kind of build the crowd, and then it'll be quiet, and there'll be nobody there for 15 minutes, and then so it's weird. It comes and goes. I don't know if the wagons per se have anything in particular to do with that. That I can't really answer that. Tough to say.
I was just wondering because that was the first time we could walk around without getting like banged into a bit. A bit.
Yeah.
And you had a prime real estate, by the way.
No,
Like by
I
those
didn't.
walls.
No, no, no,
You
no. That was
didn't?
that was a terrible
Which wall was
spot.
better?
The
That
spot
really?
was
Oh
this.
my
The
gosh! I always thought the
location was
walls was where I
terrible.
always had the.
I my 21 and
Whoa!
22, I was more central. And just to give you a perfect example, standing at the booth
Yeah.
on exhibitor hours, I would turn and look at the row, but technically behind me, that traffic was busy as
Right.
shit. And the fact that it wasn't like a true corner, people just weren't making
Yeah.
that last like
Oh,
loop around. Like my traffic was one
that's
fourth
right.
than what was in front of me. Just watching people, I'm like, what the freaking hell, man? So it showed this year.
Oh,
The spot was
you know
pretty
what?
dumpy.
No, no, you are absolutely correct. You're right. That's not the true corner. And a matter of fact, shamefully, I'll say this: the reason why I found your booth is because I was like, "That's way too crowded. I'm going this way."
Right. Like,
And
yeah,
I went
it's
towards that corner because you have to if no one's been at the Gen Con, it's like this way, then that back down, and people were
here's
just kind of like
another
cutting you out then.
here's another telltale sign of it being a bad spot. You are the only podcaster person that came and talked to me. Like in previous years, there was at
Wow.
least a dozen. At least you were the only one.
Really?
Yep, you were the only one.
Wow, and I'll tell you, it's definitely not a sign of your craftsmanship because I said this before and I'll stand next to it. Your tables blew everyone else's tables away.
Well, thank you.
And whoever you think is a gaming table, they're garbage compared to yours.
I appreciate that.
Absolute
That's super cool.
overpriced garbage compared to yours.
Yeah,
And with Weather Dragon, yeah,
when you look at Wormwood selling the Prophecy for 10 grand, it's a gorgeous table and I'm not knocking it, but mine start at 95 and look, you're getting so much more for the same price. Like I get it. I took a small market and managed to make it even smaller. It's the table's huge. It's dedicated RPG table. So yeah, a lot of people want that dining room game table conversion. So you almost have to have a game room for one of my tables, but it's working
but
slowly
that's
but
the
surely.
thing. And what you said before about why you got into this table was you started Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. You took like 20 year off and then came back as an adult because your kids are in it. You're the type of customer that your tables are for. The people who now have money, now have an established family,
Right.
and can have that game room. And they're gorgeous, and they're the first ones I'll say it in two different ways in case people don't know what feet are. Some people are like, "What's a foot?" I'm 6'5", or nearly 2 meters tall, and this is the first table that didn't give my back issues.
Right.
Just by like, "Oh my god, it's actually like really? Like,
You heard
it's
your
like a
back
bar."
sigh of relief as you approached it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's and I'm not saying if you have to be like this tall to enjoy your tables, you don't. But all the other tables, they just do not work if you're standing up.
Right. And that's our
There's
barstool
no way
height
you can stretch.
model. We do standard height
Yeah.
also, but again, that first model
Do
you
you?
saw
Okay.
is the very first one that I did. So, but yeah, but it's barstool standard, whatever works for the customer.
So that's great. So not only do you do the standard height as we know for the tables, but the ones that are attractive option-wise for me would be the bar stool. What would made you think about the bar stool?
Playing for hours. Kick the stool back, stand up for a little bit, stretch your legs. How long do people play? 4, 5, four,
Yeah.
6, 8 hours sometimes. Like as a DM, I like
Yeah.
to stand up anyway, and I hear that all the time too. So it is. It's a barstool height table, perfect standing height when you need it.
Yeah, and you still like the bar stool so you can sit down still. It's not like you're like here if you take a seat. You're still at a proper size.
Yep,
And
yep.
that's the greatest thing, and then yeah,
And nobody's doing that. Who's
one
making
of the
barstool
things
tables?
no one at all, and that was the big issue. I We named them like, Wormwood makes fantastic product, they do, no doubt about it. They come there like businessmen, and it turns me off. They
Yeah.
come there with this it just the whole spiel turns me off,
Yep.
and
I've
I
taken a
just
few
can't put
customers from
down
them.
the 10 G. Yeah, because you're knowing the product, you are the person you're making these, right? You don't have them
Yeah.
like
Oh no.
how do
Yeah.
you make these? I'm just curious. Are you
I'm like the what is it, the Microsoft guy started in his garage. I'm kind of still there,
garage?
but it's my 2 car shop. That's where I'm pumping them out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so you have a background in woodworking or just draftsman or
A little bit of all of it. My blood,
yeah,
meaning my family, are woodworkers,
yeah,
engineers. I'm just loaded with that in my DNA to begin with. My father was a woodworker, so I grew up watching that.
cool.
So yeah, all the stars, I guess, just align for me. I have very good structural sense. One of my tables is 6 foot
Yeah.
by 9 foot and still has just 4 legs. There's no center support whatsoever. Like it's a
Really? No
beast.
center.
It's
Oh
a
my god.
beast. It's 4 legs holding it up. That's it. That thing spans 9 foot and there's nothing else holding it up.
Oh wow. That just goes to it. You know your craft. You are a true craftsman. And I think that says a lot about the way you present your tables because there's nothing I could ask you that time about your table that you didn't know. There's not a single thing you didn't know about the table. And I've asked other companies, they had no clue.
But
And
now
it's
I wonder
frustrating,
though,
like,
like
"Well, why
you're
are you here?"
you're talking to the guy who made it, so it's you might have with other companies it may have just been a worker bee who maybe didn't know all the ins and outs.
But
Unless you were talking to
that's
one of the
exactly
Wormwood
it.
guys' heads and they didn't know, then yeah, that's pretty bad.
Well, but that's exactly it. Like, if you're there at a place, and again, we're Wormwood's coming out as a punching bag. I didn't mean to, but it because they do amazing craftsmanship. But if the entire thing is a sale, 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 and you can't tell me anything about your product, then what's your point?
Right.
And then you go over to find yours, which are more unique and handcrafted by the person. And right away, you had someone at your booth, and what did he say? You want to ask those questions? Right there. Anything he didn't know, he passed on. And that's all that, that's exactly it. And you are someone who is passionate about what you do, passionate about what you do. And that passion shows when you're talking about the features. And features I didn't think I needed until you start, oh, like, oh, I do need one of these. You're right. So when you had carvings on yours. Some is that just by like the old chiseling, or
Oh
how
God,
are you
no.
doing these?
No.
Like,
If
oh,
you're
like, oh, I was
referring
thinking
to
like
the light up, the
the engraving,
LEDs,
the
how
router.
that because there's
Yeah.
really no like carving. A lot of the artwork, the
Right.
black artwork that you see is just painted on. But the LED plaques, the room
Wow.
plaques on the side of the post, those are CNC'd with a computerized router that cuts those out.
Okay. That's why I was like, you're taking the chisel, get
Yeah.
like a router going. Like,
I'm not
okay.
that good.
The
Or I'm hand whittling stuff. That's
but
crazy.
you're that imaginative to do it. That's the thing, you're that imaginative to do it. So you do all of these, where do you get your I mean, because construction is coming back, we talked about COVID, and COVID, at least in Canada, all the materials went up to here during that. So
Yeah.
how are you getting these materials? I
Prices
mean,
leveled out. They're I
have
guess where
they?
they should be, minus the or with the 3 years of inflation since then till now.
Right, right.
Other than
Right,
that,
right.
they're okay. My prices have made I've had like one jump in the past 2 years, but they're holding steady.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. 'Cause I always wonder about these things and logistics. I said this, and I'm very truthful. If I were in the States right now, I would definitely have one of your tables right now. How did you ship out your I mean, those are massive.
They are.
Do they come like a freight? Like, what's
Yeah,
the
it's a
logistics
one.
behind that?
It depends on the table, but my revelation is the 6 foot by 9 foot one. That's two crates, but it's a big giant crate. It's just huge. It's just a big ass crate. I'll bring it to the terminal, and the trucking company will bring it to your front door and drop it off.
Oh, wow. That's just an amazing item for me. How do we find your tables not at a con? If I wanna look at your tables at home going, "Oh, I wish I had this." How do I do that?
I'm Northeast North Carolina. I've actually had somebody. I have a game room, which is technically my showroom, in the house. So if somebody really wanted to, I'll
Right.
bring them here to the house to show them the game room. I have a
Oh,
couple
cool.
at local game stores around here. And if I got tables all around the country. So if not, meaning that they're not that all over the place, but if somebody lives
Right.
close, to one and I got one there, they're, obviously more than welcome to, a lot of my customers are really gracious too. And they say, hey, and they will volunteer that. Like, if you ever need somebody to come check out the table, I'll be more than happy to show them. So I have that angle
Oh,
too. Cause
did you ever
it's not just one and done. A lot of customers I keep that
right.
relationship with. So it's the whole community
Those
thing
brand
for sure.
loyalty then. Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the things, like, again, we'll come back, is, like, I like how personable you are, and you really do care about your product. It's part of you that you sold.
Oh, it
This is
is.
you,
It's
and
a part
now
of
you're
my
giving it.
soul for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely, and then did you ever install tables? Like, I can barely do IKEA. Like, IKEA is like, "Oh, man, I can't do
We do
IKEA right
white
now."
glove too. Going up to Gen Con, we did a drop off in Cincinnati, Ohio. I had a customer table in the trailer with all my con stuff. We stopped in Cincinnati, we set that up, delivered it, and then headed to Indianapolis from there.
Oh, wow. How quickly do you do that? How quickly do you think that can be from set up to go?
We were
How long does
there
it take for
for
you?
maybe 3 hours total, start to finish.
Not bad. That's not bad, and that Do you charge extra? I'm just curious as a businessman. Do you charge extra for the white glove?
It's the same price to ship it. If you're within that 10-hour ish drive, I'll deliver and set it up for the same price to put it in a crate and get it to you. And it's
That's
still worth it.
amazing.
And it's still worth it for me to do that for sure.
So basically, you're saying I have to move in within 10 hours of North Carolina. I'll just put a compass point here, 10-hour like around this,
Where in Canada are
because that.
you?
Oh, I'm Montreal right now.
And is that east or
Subject to
west?
change. East, we're kind of we border New York and New Hampshire, and
Oh,
it's all on that.
dude, that's borderline of my. I just have to get a passport.
Yeah. Are you bringing anything to the country? No, just a bunch of wood. Don't
Oh,
ask what it's
here
the
we
shape
go.
of.
Since we're on this topic, I am
Yeah.
international. I have a table in Australia
Do you? How did you ship it to Australia?
on a boat.
That'd be
It
like
took about 2 months.
on a
I was
boat.
crapping in my pants the whole 2 months, but holy
Oh, the
shit!
entire time.
But it made it there,
Yeah,
man.
inherent device.
Yep. That was interesting
Oh, yeah.
because Australia has a very, not want to say fragile, but maybe a delicate ecosystem. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Holy crap.
Yeah,
The
they
forms I
can't
had to
take
fill
anything
out
in.
for the wood had
Yeah.
to be, all treated all to make sure we're not bringing bugs in from, one country to
Yeah.
another. Holy shit. It was a process, but after the grind, it was a success. So, yep, international. We're good to go.
That is amazing. I barely send Christmas cards to Australia. They might get there, they might not. So I understand, like,
Yeah.
for a whole month, you're like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
Yeah, it's fully
Exactly
insured,
it.
so
So
God forbid if the Connex box, dumped in the ocean, it's fully covered,
yeah,
but just who wants to
at
deal
least to
with
get the
that crap?
insurance back.
Yeah.
No, it's just more paperwork. How do how do you picture these in your head? Like, how do you make your new designs? Do they come here first? Or they get an inspirational dream or what?
The first one, obviously from my head, but all the other
Right.
reiterations were from customers, and it comes down to, hey, this is really cool,
Really?
but can we do this? And as long as I can make sense in my head first and put it on paper, put it in the program, make sure that all the numbers and measurements are going to work. Yeah, but that's pretty much all of them since the first one has been customer suggestions or reiterations.
Are you kidding me? So, if I wanted my artist friend Kevin to draw me up my perfect gaming table and we send it to you, you're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, as long as I can make it make sense. Yep.
That's
I like to keep my few trademark things, like the
fine.
13-inch of player surface, so everybody's got plenty of room. I like the outlets,
Yeah.
the ambiance, my weathered look for the legs. I keep pointing over here, but I'm sitting right next to the table. so,
Oh,
so yeah,
wow.
to keep most of the trademark things, but one of the tables I did, the Kraken, that's my octagon table. That has
Yeah.
that drifted from a lot of my trademark stuff, but it's what the customer wanted, so I'm not going to tell them no. That's bad business. So
Right, absolutely. So you are able to do custom tables within obviously, if you've something just doesn't jive for you, like, that's not physically possible right
yeah,
now,
it's
you'll be
got to make
upfront.
sense. The room for the
Yeah.
players. Sometimes people want stuff. I'm like, hey, I can do this, but this is your end result. You may be
Yeah.
questioning once it gets to you. So I try to point out all that stuff too. I have a pretty good sense of flow in what works and what's
Yeah.
gone and what's not. So
Now, one of the things that really drove me to your table was the way you did the weathered legs. Like, it looks like it has been there forever. Your tables have that timeless appeal to it. Is that on purpose then? It's gotta be, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah. I went through many. Oh my god, the first two. It took probably about 2 years. Like the same formula I'm using now to get that look. It's been what I've been doing for like 2 3 years now. But it took a while
Really?
to get to that point. Meaning, everything gets painted black first, and then it's layers of dry brush. It's what colors am I using? How heavy are the dry brushes? So
Wow.
it's the process, but it's definitely to the point where it is what it's been for the past 2 years, and like, it's going to vary slightly from table to table, but I don't think anybody's going to notice but me. You know, when if you were to put them next to each other.
Right. Yeah, we as an artist critical eye, we always see that one struck like, "Oh, no, I see that one." You know, that one thing that, like, you can notice. How long does it make you to make you take it? How long does it take you to make one? Words today are hard.
Yeah, they are. Bro, do you even word?
Yeah, yeah, like, well, how long
it,
does it
it
take you?
it takes about a month to get a table done, and that
A
includes the
month.
bigger ones too. But because it's just meaning a month, but maybe some of the days are longer days, 12-hour days instead of 8. But a
Right.
normal 8 to 9 hour day, normal work week. If I really want to push, I'll get one of my square ones done in 2 to 3 weeks. But that's hustling, and that's a lot of 12-hour
That's
days
awesome.
consecutive.
Yeah, have you ever done 2 tables at one concurrently where you're doing a leg on one and a leg on another one, and then you go build body and build again?
I'll do that to the point where I may make two sets of legs and a lot of the trim parts, but it stops there
Right.
because once the tables start having to get assembled in the shop, one table, I only have enough room in the
The
shop
room.
for one at a time.
Right.
So
But that's a selling point. It really is. One at a time. This
one
is
and
not
done.
mass-produced
Yeah,
stuff. It's
they're
one
not.
at a
They're really
time.
not. Even when I was hoping to get a bigger shop this year, I live on about an acre, so I have room in the back for a
Cool.
detached building, which is what I was trying to do this year, but the stars didn't align.
Yeah.
Man, once I get a space that's efficient, I can easily do 2 tables a month, still just by myself. But at that point, I definitely want to bring in the apprentice and
Bring it.
the help at that point.
That's another thing. It's like people who think the only pathway to success is a 4-year college degree, the 4-year university degree, which, I'm guilty as charged. Well, that's Jim Morrison. Hold on. Degrees are on this one. Like, wait, that's
You got
preaching.
a
That's
degree in
never mind.
Jim Morrison?
Yeah, I got. Who knew? Who knew? And I'm putting the good work right now. But to be an apprentice in a trade that is making your own business. And I've known so many people who went that route who are extremely happy with that choice. And I think you would be a great person to learn from because your creativity and your passion are still there. I think anyone, once you get that shop made in your back half, we'll say, you know, anyone who wants to learn, would you take someone who is just getting out of trade school or even a little bit even wetter behind the ears?
I don't think I would put a set of. I've thought about the application process, right? And
Right,
literally, it would be some of the questions would be just a lot of, dude. This woodworking thing, it's all about troubleshooting and fixing the last problem. If something went wrong, it's all right. What can I do so this doesn't happen again? So I've done this crap enough
right,
to where I've weeded out a lot of the possible errors and crap that can go wrong.
right,
So it would be it's I guess it's all about problem solving. So the application process would be maybe 10 just generic questions of issues. How would you resolve this? I want to know their brain and how it
right,
works because to me that's more valuable than a degree or schooling. You don't so I'm not going to because somebody doesn't have any schooling that they're definitely still going to be a candidate, but I'm more concerned about their creativity and their problem solving skills. I think are more important than
yeah.
any classroom education, more real world experience, I guess, ultimately.
Yeah, that sounds like my dad. It sounds like my dad because he was a craftsman and he did have a degree in welding. Yeah, a junior college degree in welding, but he was a whizman. I'm looking at some of the stuff he made, and he would fabricate anything on the wood. Anything from wood, metal, or sometimes glass, he could just do in his head, and as long as he could see it in his head, like you're saying, as long as you can see it, it's real.
Yeah.
As long as you can see that it will work, it can be made. And I agree with you. I agree with you. Schooling and training will take you so far, but you have to have the passion. You have to have that
Yeah.
mindset
Right.
of
If you don't have
yeah,
that passion in the guy with the or woman with the 4 year degree, there's just
right.
it's you're missing something.
You can have all the technical skills in the world. You
Right.
can have all the technical skills in the world, but they're not good if you don't have the vision.
Yep, you need the passion. You need
You
the
know,
passion for
what
sure.
exactly.
And I get that a lot talking to
And you're
people about what I do and my craft and about the table. I've had people just be like, "Holy
right.
crap! Just I want to bottle this energy that you're spitting at me right now." And because it is, and when you're passionate about it, it comes out, and it's kind of hard to hold back.
Well, that's why I love the dynamic between your tables and yourself because both say this is a work of passion, this is a work of art, and this is something that because I wanted in the world, I made this in the world. And that goes a long way when I'm looking at things like, "Oh my god, there's so many details on your tables that just draw me," and it could be as simple as having the bar. I'm like, "Oh, this is nice." The
Right,
quality of the wood, the choices that you made to design it, they all pop out. They all pop out, and they all have purpose. They all have purpose,
right,
right?
right. It's not just
Have you
fluff.
tried anything. No, it's not fluff. Have you tried anything that you thought this would be great, and you like once you put it into life, you're like, "Oh, no. No, that wasn't it."
Nothing that severe, but like the very first one I did, all I managed to
Yeah,
pull out all the ideas in my head and make it a thing. But then, dude, I
yeah,
can't even tell you how many much that it's evolved from 5 years ago till now. Meaning, just measurements tweaked. This is good, but man, we need to pull this one out a little bit and stretch
maybe
this
better.
one. And then the LED rune plaques came. Finally found. I've always wanted torches. Those are 3D printed. I found a dude who had a
I
great
love it.
file for torches. So it just the time spent on it, it definitely improves them as well. So
That's an amazing thing. We You basically build a prototype
yes,
I
oh absolutely.
in your garage for yourself, and then thought like, "Oh, no, definitely, yeah, this works." So, is there anything you said 3D printing, is there anything that you wish you could do now, but you just don't quite have the technology yet?
The LED plaques that are CNC'd, my guy who does my 3D printing does those also. So
Right,
once with the bigger shop, I do want the laser engraver and my own CNC machine because that is just the tip of the iceberg as far as the CNCing goes. I would love to CNC three
right.
dimensional logos on the I don't know if you remember, but on the back of the post, my
Yeah.
logo again is just painted. I would love to put a three-dimensional piece on the back there for the logo. The laser engraving for the actual hardwood, we can get really crazy with full designs and stuff going to theme out. I want to make a pirate themed table so bad with
Oh, you just made my friend Richard so happy.
oh god, like with the post having like Pirates of the Caribbean where the crustaceans are coming out,
Yeah.
but having all that stuff
Oh.
3D printed and just locked on. Oh my god, that would be so cool. But what's a pirate table without a rum dispenser? Rum bottle rum up top, tipped
Oh
upside
my
down,
gosh.
taps on the side. So
That's the thing. I love talking because it sounds like you just made that up as I was talking to you.
no, that's been a thing in my head for a while.
Oh my gosh, it was like, "Oh, then this one over here, and this one there."
Yeah.
Like, Free League with Pirate Borg should be your sponsor
Oh.
because that table would be the
Oh.
perfect setting
Yeah. That would
for
be
it,
dope.
man.
Yep. Yep.
Like, honestly. So, aha, we've talked about the tables, we talked about your journey. What got you into Dungeons& and Dragons? Just curious.
When I was younger, my buddy Joe, I lived in a six-family apartment building. He's a musician, creative madman. There's just the only ways to describe this dude. He played D&D. I was maybe 13, 14 at the time. He's okay. He's a little bit older than me. He's got about 4 years. So when you're 13 against a 17, 18, it's a little bit of a difference there. But again, we're friends, didn't really hang out. But if you
Yeah.
ever played D&D, you want to come? I'm like, sure. Knew nothing about it. And then that's kind of what sucked me in. He handed me the Dragon's Autumn Twilight Dragonlance book, read that, and it was all over. I was just sucked into
Oh,
fantasy. I'm like, yep, this is the worlds I want to live in. And so that's what got me into it. Thanks, Joe.
that's that's a good that's a good gateway.
And I still we
Trade the
still keep in
enigmas
touch.
and we
He lives in Dallas. I'm in North Carolina. We're still like 16, 17 hours apart. We still talk all the time. He is still doing stuff in the verse too, and so yeah, he is still a good
that's
major
so
influence
cool.
in everything I'm doing.
That's an amazing. Now, was this during a time, this might be an age thing because I remember when Sally Jesse Raphael was saying Dungeons& and Dragons, your kids are killing people.
Yeah.
Was that
I don't
during
know
the
how
the
old you
scare
think I
time?
am, but I'm gonna be 50 next year. So yes, I did kind of
Oh,
live through
happy
that.
birthday then, yeah.
Thank you. So
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, for those who are like, "Wow, Dungeons& and Dragons," no, it was a subversive thing, not because of anything other than, I guess, popular TV shows or popular news were making up stories about it and saying that it was a cult and that we worship Satan, and then babies were being sacrificed. It was insane
yeah,
and people
no baby
believed it, and people
sacrificing.
believed it, which is the insane part.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
propaganda for
to
you.
play Dungeons& and Dragons back then, yeah, it was if you ever wanna watch Stranger Things and wonder why people are like, "Well, what the hell?" That
Right.
was reason why. And when you said Dragonlance, you've got it autographs, right?
Oh
You've been
yeah,
at
yeah.
Gen Con.
I have
You were at Gen
Margaret.
Con this year.
Well, I have Larry Elmore art signed,
Yep.
and
Oh,
Margaret
wow.
Weiss, the new book, the trilogy, the Chronicles trilogy. I got
The
Margaret
new
Weiss to
trilogy.
sign that. So
That's amazing, and Tracy was there last year or the year prior to say because last year just was this year, I guess,
yeah,
and that was one of the reasons why I came to Gen Con originally was because of those books.
yeah,
Like, we can share a common gateway drug, I guess you wanna
yep.
say.
Definitely
It's
my gateway
Dragonlance,
drug.
right? And we can talk about things without even knowing each other, and that's the magic of gaming. We don't know each other, but we can talk like we're friends because we
Yeah.
have that common background of
Yep.
a book that came out 4 decades ago? Like, I
40 years
don't even
ago.
remember what year this is yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
a
wild. It's
and
wild.
that shows, and that formed you. That meeting formed you into the person making tables today,
Yep, it did. It
you know?
absolutely did. You know
And
what's
it
really
happened for
wild
all the
too?
wrong reasons daily around. Yeah.
In my game room, there's a bunch of crap on the walls everywhere. I have a shelf with minis that I painted 30 plus years ago that I never got rid of. I kept
Oh,
them in a
wow.
box, and once my game room came about, dude, they're sitting on, I'm staring at them right now. They're from like 30 plus
That's
years
very
ago.
cool.
So it's pretty wild.
And
Why it's like why didn't I throw
part
those
of things
out?
we never
It's like
throw.
I knew. It's a part of me knew. Future me knew.
Yep. Absolutely, and that's the brilliant of it. This is something that, if you love it, let it go type thing. You had to let it go for your family, and it came back to you. And it came back through your family, which is even better,
Right.
right?
Yep.
It's even better.
Because of the family. I tell my wife all the time, this is my
Yeah.
midlife crisis. Leave me alone.
My midlife crisis is making amazing tables. I
Yeah.
love it. It is making a business. So, I have only 2 further questions, Your Honor. But first, I've been having a lot of fun, so thanks for the sit down and truly talking about this.
Heck yeah. Thanks for
We
having me.
talked about designs. Oh, yeah. No time. Anytime. We talked about the design aspect of it. We talked about the technology aspect of it. Have you ever just sat and played with the people on their new tables? I'm just curious. Like, I know you play at your table. Have you ever seen that first joy of someone saying, "Oh my god, this is my table now. This
Yes.
is our game now."
Gen Con 2021 was my first official sale, like distance one, because they're
Right.
in California. I was here. So I had to redesign the table to make it
Ooh.
modular at the time, too. Once it was
Yeah.
done and I shipped it out there, they flew me out there to help set it up and hang out for the weekend to play the inaugural game on the system. Jason and
Oh my
Stephanie
god.
Williams, and I still keep in touch with them to this day. We still talk. When
That's
if I have to go out to
that's
California
amazing.
and need a place to stay, I can stay with them. Like, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, to develop these relationships with, from something that was locked up in here that I put out there. It's wild. It's really cool.
That's amazing. I'm flabbergasted, really. That's God, they flew you out.
Yeah.
And that's the power of, like, the family aspect of gaming,
The community, yep,
really.
how
It's
hardcore the community is, and
yeah, a found family aspect of it. Very cool. Now, this question I ask all my guests, what is the one piece of advice you would give younger, I mean, like, teenage you, if you could?
if any ideas and passions that you have, just you have to keep going. It's a roller coaster. It all isn't
Yeah,
highs. There's highs and lows associated with it. Sometimes you're
there you go.
like beating your head up against the wall and you're just like, what am I doing here? Do I really want to be doing this? But their setbacks are real. Just you will get over them and you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing.
I I like that. Honestly, that's any and that's just not a creative art journey, if that is life itself.
It is. It absolutely
It's
is.
ups and
You
downs,
got to keep pushing.
you have to
If they're
bank them.
just punches to the gut, you just have to take a couple deep breaths and just come back
Yeah.
swinging even harder. There you go.
Tighten that core up. Oh,
Yeah.
that hurt. Absolutely. That's brilliant. Mike, where can we find you? What's up next for you? What's up next for you? Where can we find you?
Things are going to be quiet for a few months. March is going to be busy. I got Long Island Tabletop, smaller convention, but a good friend
Yes.
of mine is a big part of that one. So I like to, just it's just cool. Hang out again, smaller community, but super fun. 2 weeks after that is
Yeah.
Gary Con. So that's March is going to be busy for sure. As far as digitally, website, the weathered with an ed dragon.com. Instagram's our biggest social. So if anybody's on social
I bet.
media, Weather Dragon on
I bet.
Instagram.
So it's the WEATHERED dragon for Instagram
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Amazing. And that's the perfect out. Honestly, Instagram, you could probably make a TikTok of you making the table or something like that. But Instagram, those tables pop, I swear. It's the craftsmanship. If you ever want to see a true craftsman, I don't care where you're from. If you want to see true craftsmanship, you've got to check out Weather Dragon tables. It's amazing how you make them. The stories are fantastic, and I swear I want to figure out how to get back to the United States just for your tables now. I'm like, I don't care about the jobs no more, none of that stuff. I want to get back to the States just so I can have one of your tables without going through like customs fees. Like, no, no,
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope
absolutely.
it happens one day. That would be awesome.
You know what? I might even pop up at Gary Con just to say hi. Who knows?
Oh heck yeah, that's
So,
close to
everyone, on
Canada.
behalf
That's
of myself,
perfect.
it's not bad. I can don't tell my mom where Gary Con is. She'll probably say, "Why haven't you visited me?" I'm like, "Oh no, no, no. Gary Con's somebody else. It's in Gary, Indiana." Yeah, no.
Yeah,
On behalf of
big
myself,
difference.
Joe, and Mike, we bid you good day. Bye, everyone.
Take care.